welcome to the Flix Fix show with the most epic, well, let's be honest, the most epic start I've ever seen to any sort of show ever on a streaming show that has meteorites crashing into what is basically a world that is doomed by a pandemic. Is a great way to start something that's supposed to be really lovely for everyone to watch. So welcome along to the Flix Fix show. This is the show where we talk about everything to do with streaming, films. We get into debates about what the best type of stuff is. We all know it's absolutely fine to drive all the way to Durham for an eye test now, so we're not going to talk about any of that. We'll just talk about the real things that really matter to us, and that is things like, you know, is Die Hard an actual Christmas film? They're the sort of debates that we're going to start talking about. I'm your host. We have got three comedians with us. I'm John Pearson. We've got three comedians with us. We have got Esther Manito. She's on my right, your left. We've got Matt Green, who's right below me, and we've got Ryan Dalton, who's over there in the corner, like a little bishop for me. I can't play him at chess. If you can only move, we can both move one square. It'd be absolutely fine. So we're here to discuss this. So hello, guys. How are we all? Be all right?
We're glad.
Good.
So I said we're grand. I'm speaking on behalf of everyone.
You what, Ryan?
I said we're grand as if I'm speaking on behalf of everyone.
I like the fact you straight away. We are a community, Ryan. That's what I like. You're like, yeah, we're all in it together. All four of us are absolutely fine. We had a chat earlier on, and we're all good. So it's fine. So are you all? First question, obviously, is are you all big streamers? Do you watch a lot of stuff on Netflix, all that sort of stuff? Have you all got Netflix? And how many?
Yeah, too many of these things.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say I've got three. I've got Now TV, Amazon Prime, and Netflix.
Yeah, me too. And I think I've got Virgin TV, so that gives me extra stuff as well sometimes. So yeah, I've got too many.
I like the way you said, I think I've got that. Like, we've got so much stuff now. It's like,
I know.
I think Matt's got 47 TVs in his house.
Yeah.
That's what that green curtain's covering up with Matt. Matt's got what looks like a bank of TVs behind him.
I wish that was true. This is a green screen, but my laptop isn't powerful enough to use it. Yeah.
It's like a sports bar with 27 screens like that.
Yeah.
All streaming a different service.
I'm on 3 different shows. How's it
got Hulu up? I don't understand how it's got a Hulu on here. That's very strange. So Esther, have you got streaming stuff, Esther? What have you got?
So Netflix, Prime, Disney Plus.
Yeah, I was going to say, have you got a Disney Plus? Is that for you or the kids, Esther? Is that for you or the kids?
Well, do you know, it was meant for the kids, but my other half is now watching loads of Marvel shite on there.
Oh, don't say shite. Don't say shite about Marvel. It's absolutely. You're not a Marvel fan, Esther, I'm assuming?
Not a Marvel fan.
No.
When my dad is watching Thor, you
like watching Thor?
No, I don't like watching Thor. My other half is watching
no one likes watching Thor.
I've ever seen. Yeah, what is wrong with everyone in Thor?
Come on,
that could be the first question.
Good.
What? Look at you starting your own debate. If everyone, we can throw that out to the people watching live at home. Can you please tell us what is wrong with everybody in Thor? That would be a great way to.
They're just very Thor. They're just feeling very Thor.
Oh God!
Very Thor.
Come on.
Too Thor. It's too thought out for me. I don't even know if that works. I tried to pun. I'm not a pun guy. I don't do puns. It's fine. I'm much more highbrow than puns. Dick jokes normally. So everyone's got streaming stuff. Like I said, we have got. There is. I mean, you three know this. There is studio. I say studio audience. They're out there in internet, aren't they? They're out there. No one's actually live. They're all watching us from Facebook or I think it's Facebook. I think they can watch on StreamYard. I don't know where else they can watch. This is all set up by Hotspot and Joke Pit, so they all know where they're doing. So yes, as you can see on the screen now, it says, tell us in the comments where you're watching from, what you're doing, and what sort of streaming platforms you've got and what you like the best. And if you can tell us what is wrong with everyone in Thor, that'd be lovely. I don't know. Is it Thor? Thor 1, Thor. Which one's your worst one, Esther?
I think it was Thor 1 because it was just Thor. It's Thor.
Just Thor.
The guy in it, it's just the fact that everything he said was like somebody had him by his gonads. So everything was said like that, and I was just like, I can't.
Sounds like it was in Braveheart. Were you watching the right Thor? I mean,
yeah, it was Thor, John.
That definitely sounded like Braveheart then.
I don't mind Braveheart.
I know you're watching the mini version of Thor.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
I can't remember Thor. I can't remember Thor being such a Scottish accent. I'm going to be honest.
No, that wasn't a Scottish accent. He's just talking really intense. and he just annoyed me. Stupid
everyone
hair.
from
He's got
Asgard.
hair like Ryan. Ryan, your hair's like Thor. So quick
I don't know
question,
why
what's wrong with Ryan?
Right, she's just dragged you in. It's like as if we were arguing. She's like, no, I need to argue with somebody else now. I'm gonna start arguing with Ryan. Let's bring him in.
Can't drag my hair into a debate that's negative. Don't do that.
Matt, have you watched Thor?
Lockdown
I'm
life.
assuming. Do you know you've watched Thor, Matt? I bet. Have you? Did you like it?
Yeah, I love the third one. Thor Ragnarok's great.
Thor Ragnarok is great. Yeah, that is. It's
But the
it's
second
more
one-
comedy.
The second one's rubbish. And the thing about the second one is, I watched that abroad on Netflix, but I didn't realize that, on the subtitles, they had it in, I think it was in Norway or something, and they only had the subtitles in Norwegian. So loads of Thor 2 is in like Elvish or whatever, like the characters are dark elves. So they just spoke gibberish. And I put the subtitles on and it was just gibberish. And I remember watching it, sitting in a hotel room or something, just going, this isn't very good. I don't know what this is happening. So it might be a great film. I just couldn't understand a word anyone was saying.
I had the same problem. I've got it on a dodgy.
It might be a great film.
I had it on a dodgy
Probably
copy, and that didn't have any subtitles at all. So when they were just talking gibberish, I couldn't even turn subtitles on. So they just had to talk gibberish, and I was like, I think he's angry. Do you know what I mean? This is sort of guessing. You're guessing at what's happening.
It is.
Well, you wouldn't know because everything they say is just really intense, whether they're happy or whether they're sad. So there is no emotion. You can't. There is no acting required.
Oh, look at Colin Mayhew
Ryan
getting involved now. Ryan looks like Loki's love child.
I'm not happy with this. Why is the
Let's change the discussion
Let's change
show.
all the debates we've got set up and start talking about Ryan and how much he looks like a cartoon
than
character.
doing live comedy on a stage. It's always my appearance. Why I think I
You're
look
a bizarre
great.
looking man.
You might need to get a mask or something for the next show and just sort of, that's what Thor
Or a bag.
has. Isn't it?
A bag. Esther's talking from experience. Bag on your head. But apparently, Matt, maybe you were watching Lord of the Rings. That's what people are thinking now.
I wasn't.
I know what you're talking about. You're talking about
Thor
the Dark Elves, is what you're talking about.
The Dark World. And I remember, and also, isn't there a terrible bit in Thor 2 where they're on the tube and they get on at like Charing Cross and get off at Greenwich? And
it takes like a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like two stops. You're like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
That's London reason to not like a film.
Well, not.
The tube is unrealistic.
25,
I don't like the geography element.
Do you know how long?
And also, there's no one on
journey
the fucking
takes?
tube, so
So no one was wearing a mask.
Yeah, exactly. No social distancing at
Thor
all.
was the only one with PPE on. Right. Anyway, we best get on with the actual show that we've actually prepared for, rather than talking randomly. Thank you very much, Esther, for this discussion about Thor. So this is the big debate. The big debate is where we're going to talk about the real. I'll be honest, everyone. We have kind of had the big debate already because it is what is wrong with it. No one's answered yet out there in on the comments. What is wrong with everybody in Thor? Which would be a nice thing. If you want to just comment, you can do. So the big debate. We've got a couple of questions this time. So the first question in the big debate is, what is the worst James Bond film ever made?
Right. You see, I reckon I read the first James Bond book recently on lockdown because I thought I'm going to read some books I've meant to read, Casino Royale, and I'll be honest, I'm amazed that any James Bond films are good because the books are shit.
Wow. There we go.
Really bad. Yeah, bad. Right, really bad. I was expecting it to be quite good, and it was bad. So I'm impressed that any of the films are any good, I have to say. Nothing happens in the book. He just eats lots of nice food.
Oh, well, that definitely is quite a mellow version.
That's confused me. I've never read a James Bond book. Ever,
I mean, okay.
I like the fact that now it's basically just a restaurant review, is what you're saying.
He gets into trouble.
He's
People help him out of trouble. It's rubbish.
It's rubbish. What were you about to say, Esther? What were you going to say about James Bond? Have you seen James Bonds?
I have, against my will, again.
What is wrong with everyone in James Bond?
What
is wrong with everyone in James Bond? I'm not a fan of any James Bond films. Well, because I did this show, the Get My Goat thing, and one of them is Daniel Craig. So he's like I can't really bear Daniel Craig because his face looks like a ball bag. So I can't really abide any James Bond film starring Daniel Craig because And I don't know if Kane can do his blinkety blink and get the picture up of Daniel Craig pouting, but Daniel Craig has the most annoying pout, which he does throughout all his films.
I'm trying to do it now. I don't
He
know.
does this thing where he's like that. It's like, stop it.
So you're saying
stupid.
any? That's a good one, Matt. I like that one. That's good. That's a good pout.
Good.
And every woman's supposed to just like be like, oh yeah, shag me. It's like if a man came up to you like that, you just be like, sorry.
I mean, that's pretty much
Are you
James
ill?
Bond,
What is wrong with you?
What is wrong with you? So what do you think, Rod? So basically what you're saying there, Esther, is that anything with Daniel Craig is the worst James Bond.
I'm not a massive James Bond fan anyway, because I think they're quite boring. There you go.
There he is.
Ball bag mouth, scrotum mouth.
Right.
Look at,
Actually, Matt, you look quite a lot like Daniel Craig.
I'm about to say, now that you've brought that up, Matt's got a definite Daniel Craig.
World is not enough and die another day.
What, are they both the worst ones?
Yeah, they're both considered pretty shit.
But it's always the newer ones. No one ever noticed. It's always the newer ones that everyone says are shit. No one ever says the old ones. No, everyone goes, oh, because it's Sean Connery. He's a legend, you know.
But no one watches
the tongue in cheek. The old ones are tongue in cheek.
A good point there.
A
good point being made by Colin on the comments. It says Moonraker. It just ruined the character of Jaws, which it did. You are right. You are very right, Colin. It did ruin the character. It made him a weird sort of pastiche of a villain. Made Jaws with Moonraker. It was terrible.
And didn't he have he had a love interest by the end, didn't he?
Yeah. She was weird. It was almost like they sort of like merged the Addams family into James Bond. Do you know what I mean? They made it all sort of weird. That's me saying, oh, she was weird.
She was weird.
When Jaws is absolutely fine. A guy with metal teeth that could bite through electrical cables. That's all absolutely fine. But
we've all met Jaws.
He can't have a love interest. Who's gonna love that? That's the other thing. I mean, who's gonna love that?
Braces.
I would much rather love Jaws than Daniel Craig.
Wow.
Well, there you go. Who knows?
Out there.
That's
I mean, not that Daniel Craig is at all fussed by any means by that.
I'm sure he's watching. I'm sure he's watching now and he's like, oh no. Not
I think you've made that. I think you've
what
made
is her problem?
What is the problem with everyone on the Flix Fix? Sorry, Ryan, what were you saying?
I said I think Esther's made that decision without seeing the character Jaws.
No, I know what Jaws looks like, right?
Not the shark, Esther. Just to point out, it's not the shark.
That would say something. I would rather mate with a fish. Are they a fish?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What? Yeah. Nearly made a fool of myself there.
Oh yeah. That was the point. It was all going to.
That would have been the thing. Yeah.
Your argument fell apart at the point you thought a shark was a mammal.
Oh.
So Ryan, what do you think? What do you think's the worst James Bond film, Ryan?
I had to think about this a lot actually because I've only seen a select few. But my reason for my worst one is actually similar to Matt's reason for not liking Thor 2, and it's Skyfall, I think. And my reason for not liking it is because there's a scene in it where Pouty Craig slides down the escalator in the middle. Now you can't do that because there's barriers the whole way down. And I remember Londoners walking out at that bit of the film going, that's too much.
Yeah,
that's too much.
So this entire debate between us lot is basically if it doesn't work in London, we're not making it.
Exactly that. Yeah, not having it.
If it tries to paint the tube as being anything but a fucking nightmare, then we're livid. It's like, no, if you could slide down the middle, we would. Okay, because it's so crammed, people would take that step.
What annoys me is Americans will watch that and go, oh, next time I'm in London, I'm going to slide down the tube. They try it and die, and this doesn't paint our city very well.
Yeah, but then I think that when I see like New York shows, if I see something based in New York and I think, oh, I'll just get off the subway and I'll go straight to that pizza shop and I'll get a pizza slice straight away. There won't be a queue. I bet you they think that of that. Everything they see in New York, they're like, you can't get on the tube that quickly. You only see the people just hop up the steps of the subway.
Yeah. Not one person had a meltdown and punch someone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't see Daniel Craig struggling. Oh, wait, I've just lost my camera. Why did I lose my camera?
You insulted Daniel Craig.
Yeah, that's it. I think Daniel Craig.
He's out there. He's watching.
God, it's worrying, isn't it? So what we've worked out is that we don't actually. None of you lot really like James Bond.
The thing is, I really liked the film of Casino Royale. I thought that was good. And then unfortunately Quantum of Solace came after that, which is one of the most confusing films I've ever seen. Because they had to write that, didn't they have to do it during the writers' strike? And
Yes.
they had half a script or something, and then they ended up having to like make it up as they went along. And you can really tell. It's just stuff. Oh, I don't know.
A bit like Doctors on BBC, where it's like a different writer each week, and it's like hard to follow what's going on.
There's been some broad brushes spread on this show so far today, but spreading it across James Bond's writers are very similar to who do Doctors on the BBC, the daytime daily soap.
No, they're not regular writers. It's different writers each
Who are
week.
they? Can we all I'll write a fucking episode of Doctors if that's what.
But that's why it never makes sense. Like last week, someone's like, so like it will be like last week on Doctors, so and so's having an affair, so and so's having an abortion. This week it's train strike, and you're like, no, there's no linear. Like, what's happening? Livid.
Sorry,
that's why.
What the fuck is Doctors?
Well,
thank you.
I think that can move us on to question 2 of the debate now. What the fuck is Doctors? Okay, well we've got the answer. Jim's put this up. According to Rotten Tomatoes, the worst Bond film is A View to a Kill, then Octopussy, and then The Man with the Golden Gun.
No.
I like all of those ones. They're
all
They're
better.
all the tongue-in-cheek ones. They're the fun ones.
Those are all better than my honest answer is Spectre.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I walked out of it, and it was so long.
Walking out is a massive thing to do. I've never walked out of the film.
I left at the end. I completely forgot what happened. You know what I mean?
I walked out at the credits.
At the end.
I walked out after the end credit scene, and once I'd seen everything go up, and then the lights came on, and they kicked me out. I left because I hated
the cleaner
film
came in. I left because I was livid.
I was furious.
Furious. There was popcorn on the floor. I couldn't believe it.
No, the thing that annoyed me about Spectre was the fact that they made it as though all of the things that happened in the previous films were all because of Blofeld, that he'd kind of like.
Oh yeah.
And it was like, oh bollocks! It was like in no way it was that planned. It was just like a stupid twist at the end, which you're like, oh really? It annoyed me.
Yeah, I think it all went a bit to pot when they had to give James Bond this serious side and this like heartbreak and abused childhood or whatever.
Give him a backstory. Just let him be a misogynist womanizer. Let him just be an alcoholic womanizer. Why can't we just have that?
Prick.
Yeah. It's fun. Or as my dad says, it's called escapism. It's not escapism, Dad. It's misogyny. That's what it is.
You can have both.
You can do both. So
I'm just gonna have a good wank over some escapism. All right.
It's weird. You can't call it escapism just because they're chained up, Esther. That's not how it works.
Not that's what we're for now, Esther.
Is that what an escape room like? Is that okay?
Okay. Oh, well, so that's the answer. We've debated that, and I don't know whether we've got any answers out of any of the actual panel, but we know that on Rotten Tomatoes, the ones that we like are actually the worst James Bond, so that's fine. Really, Matt's answer was Spectre. Esther, you said none, and Ryan, you said you just didn't like it because you didn't like the London thing.
Skyfall. That was Skyfall.
Skyfall, specifically Skyfall. Right, that's fine. Oh, that was good. That's fine. We'll move on to the next question in the big debate because I feel like we've debated that one for ages. It's kind of a bit James Bondy, but which sequel is better than the original film? Now, Esther, we'll go to you first for this one again. Have you got an answer for this?
I've got 2.
Oh, shocking. Go on then.
Hellboy and Hellboy 2 is better than original Hellboy. Hellboy and the Thingy Army. Hellboy and the Thingy Army.
Golden Army
is better than Golden Army.
It's so good you can't remember the name of it.
I saw Hellboy 1 and I completely was like, that shit.
Hellboy and the Thingy Army.
Hellboy and the Thingy Army is better than the first Hellboy and Thing.
Yeah.
And Toy Story 3 is better than Toy Story 1.
That was exactly. I had those as well. I had Toy Story as well. I had Toy Story 3 down as well as my favorite sequel compared to Toy Story 1 and Toy Story 2. I like Toy Story 3 better.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Toy Story 2.
No one is. Ryan, you seem to go, at that point. Were you worried? Was that one of yours?
I was thinking Toy Story, but controversially, I was going to go with Toy Story 2 than Toy Story 1 because the graphics get better, so that makes the film way more enjoyable. And Al's Toy Barn is an epic scene in the whole film.
It's right. You are right. I like it.
And that is better than anything
nice
that happens in the
scene.
first one.
But I think 3's better than 2.
3's better than 2 because of nostalgia.
Right.
But no,
Wrong.
When they get to the third one, they could do anything, and you're like, oh, I love it now.
You think?
Yeah, but the third
I don't know if that
one's
worked for
the
Police
side.
Academy. I'm going to be honest. I don't know if Police Academy worked on that same way.
You know,
Toy
they're like
Story 3 was
78
good, but they just pulled at your heartstrings. That's all they did.
You could say that about nearly every Pixar film. I'm going to be honest with you, Ryan. Every Pixar pulls at your heartstrings in some way, shape, or form.
Well,
I wish they'd bring out
one
too.
My other one was going to be Madagascar 2 is way better than Madagascar.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Oh.
You're right.
Yeah, that
A
is
Shot
right.
in the Dark is better than Pink Panther.
That is
I've
true.
not seen Shot in the Dark. I'm going to be honest. I saw that someone else said Colin Mayhew and Lisa Howarth have both said that Aliens is better than Alien.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
I agree with that.
But
Do you
I
agree
think
with
that's
that?
like Terminator and Terminator 2. They're different film. You know, they're both.
This is where this discussion actually came from. Last week we discussed Terminator being a better film than Terminator 2 technically, and how much it was a much better. It set the world up. Do you know what I mean? It was like the setting of the thing. But Terminator 2 is a much more fun film to watch, as opposed to Terminator was like setting it all up. Similar again in Alien, I think that Alien sets up the world for them to be aliens, and then not so much the rest of them. I think it all kind of gets a bit weird after that point. And then when they add Predator, they can just go do one. And then Mark said that Empire Strikes Back. Obviously, we're going to Star Wars now. Empire Strikes Back being a much better film than the original New Hope, I'd assume. Depending on what one you want to see first and in what order you think they should be watched in. We won't go into prequels. We're not going to start doing that situation. Now, Matt, what do you think? What's your what have you got as your sequel that's better than the original?
Well, I reckon the one I thought of was Mission Impossible 4 onwards.
4 onwards?
Yeah, because I reckon Mission Impossible 1, 2, 3 are okay, but then Mission Impossible 4 is great.
Which one's Mission Impossible 4? Which one's that?
Ghost Protocol.
Yeah, Ghost Protocol is a great film.
And it's the director of Impossible, isn't it? And it was that. It's just incredible. It's so brilliant, and Simon Pegg's in it, and it kind of takes the series into a much more fun place, I think. Yeah. And I think 6 are really good as well. So I think it's a rare example of a series that kind of halfway through gets better, like a lot better. Which
doesn't happen at all, really, ever. I can't think of anything that's ever done that. You know, although Rocky, see Rocky 4, is it Rocky 4? Which one's where he beats communism?
That's 4, yeah.
That's 4. Rocky 4 is quite a good film. But again, that kind of harps back to Ryan's discussion of it. All just sort of pulls on nostalgia.
Yeah.
Again,
I mean, Rocky's not a good film. It's just a very fun film.
Yeah, it's a very fun film, and Rocky does.
It works. The nostalgia thing works.
It's a fun film.
Yeah, it's a fun film about somebody dying, which actually happens at the start of Rocky.
You've got to lighten it up.
Well, we've got Lord of the Rings. We've got someone said Lord of the Rings 3. Finally, there was an end in sight, and I'm from New Zealand.
I totally agree. Talitha, you are spot on.
Yeah.
They are so long. I didn't even make it through the first one. Couldn't handle it.
3 hours.
I was like, why does no one talk properly? No, why does no one talk properly? I was literally
the only thing longer than a Lord of the Rings film was Dominic coming.
Have I got?
That was it.
Very good, Ryan. Very good. A nice topical joke there brought into Lord of the Rings. Well done, Ryan. I mean, yeah, hats off to you for doing that. I mean, that wasn't even written. That's perfect. Well done. Someone said Dark Knight beats Batman Begins as well. Again, I feel like that's on
I'd agree.
I think that's on the same realm as what we said about Terminator setting up Terminator 2.
Yeah.
Batman Begins again. It's very much a reboot and a restart.
Yeah.
But then you've got the Joker in that, which is just Heath Ledger's Joker was one of the best characters ever written ever. Yeah, it's absolutely perfect. Well, there you go. That's I think that probably brings us to the end of that. Again, we're massively running over on all the timings that I've got written down on my sheet of paper, but it's been a lot of fun talking about what sequels are. So we had a lot of people interested in that. It's very nice to know that Ryan can write jokes on the hoof about Dominic Cummings and how long they are compared to Lord of the Rings. Very funny. Right, so we'll move on to our next segment. Our next segment is Face Off. That's what this segment is about. This is where we put two things against each other of similar quality or similar whatever. Yeah, we decide on which one is better, is basically what it is. This week, question one is The Office versus The Office US, not USA. Which is called The Office US, but that's fine. I don't do the titles. So let's see. Ryan, let's go to you for this one. What do you think? The Office versus The Office US?
I've only just it's ever since The Office US came out, I never watched it ever because I was like, I love the US Office. I like the UK Office. I don't want to compare it to anything else. That's the show. Until I think like October last year, my girlfriend went, just watch it, just do it. And now I fucking love the US one. And I can't, I don't think you can compare them. I think they're completely different shows.
You can. What I found with it was you can compare them.
You can and you will.
2. So once season 2's finished in the US, then it's a completely different show. It's a show all of its own. All on its own.
Yeah, if we're going by that, then the UK one is definitely better.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true because it becomes a different beast. It becomes an American sitcom, not a American remake of a UK sitcom, is what I would say.
Exactly, and it is brilliant. It is brilliant.
Yeah, the characters are amazing. It's a brilliant sitcom, but comparing it against the Office UK, which was such a tight constriction of something like 2 series and a couple of specials. I think
The Office UK completely changed comedy because it started the whole like fly on the wall style comedy of following people around in their kind of everyday environment. The whole mockumentary style. So it without obviously the UK one, we wouldn't even have the premise for the American one, and they kind of ran with it, and then they made it a lot more kind of cheesy and a lot more, and
they Americanized it. They massively Americanized it.
But I love the American Office. I love it.
Great. There you go. Mark's just commented saying the Bureau is the French version and it's a word for word the same as the UK series. Oh, and it's shit.
They did loads of versions, didn't they? They did like loads around the world.
Yeah.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I think they did like dozen. Well, I don't know how many, but they did quite a lot. And I think the US one was the only one that then kind of took off and did really well after.
Yeah.
Well, it's because it's so well known. Do you know what I mean? Everyone can get it. What's the point in having an Australian version if you can still just watch the US version? It's not going to be that much different, is it?
Yeah.
True.
I kind of understand it for different languages. I kind of understand it, but like the French version be called the Bureau. I can understand why they've changed it to be more French. But I think with English speaking stuff, sometimes you're just like, well, just watch the UK or the US version.
Yeah, that's true.
Have you seen both, Matt? You've seen both?
Not really. No, I think I was the same. I didn't want to watch the US version. I watched a bit of it and I thought it was all right. I never really got into it, but I think I sort of skipped and I became a massive fan of like Parks and Rec and
I love that.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Modern Family, other things that have kind of inspired by the US Office in lots of ways, and some of them made by the same people. So I'm sort of a big fan of Michael Schur, who made the US Office, all his stuff. But I kind of never went back to the Office. Just because
this is out of control now.
the comments are flying thick and fast, and now it's.
I'm gonna
Ryan looks like
this person.
Mackenzie Crook's stunt double.
Yeah, I think does that count as harassment now? I don't know if that.
I mean, I can see it, but I mean, it's not in the office.
Sex crime.
It's not in the office. Is it? Definitely more Mackenzie Crook in Pirates of the Caribbean.
What's that, Ryan?
That's the reason why that pisses me off. That comment is because I've never got any fucking double work with that man. So if I'd had a bit of finance from it, I'd be fine.
You'd be absolutely, that's true. That is very true. I'm liking the fact that everyone's joining in, mainly just with you, Ryan. To be fair, today, maybe every week we need to pick someone that looks like as many people as we can think of. Although Matt did get a Daniel Craig lookalike from who that was from. Ryan.
Daniel Craig.
I've never had that. I'm very, very grateful, Ryan. Thank you so much.
Are you disappointed, Ryan, that you've had someone just put, is a shark a fish? That was another good point. That was by Esther early on.
I'm trying to think who you it's shark fish. I'm trying to think that who you look like, John.
Oh, are you? I look like me. I'm just me. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll get there eventually.
Yeah, we'll find out. I'll be honest. Hopefully, somebody like Colin's probably going to come up with something that's going to completely insult me.
Colin, who does John look like?
Who does John look like? Brilliant. Okay, I can't wait for this to come in. Thanks a lot, everybody. Yeah, thanks a lot of the producers. Good. Right. Let me talk to everyone. All right, don't put me on fucking full screen so everyone can see what do I actually look like. It's absolutely ridiculous.
What does he look like? I'm trying to think.
Yeah, can we not go off this topic for a bit?
Is there a serial killer? I feel like it might be a serial killer.
Oh, right. Okay. Serial killer. Serial, which one?
Just not even a specific one. Just serial killer.
You just look like a serial killer. You look like a photo fit. That's what you look like, John.
Yeah.
You look like the photo fit of a man that might have done some sexual harassment. That's what
I'm just saying,
Fred
John,
West.
out of the crowd.
I'd pick you out of a lineup if there was other murderers in that lineup, John. I'd definitely say it was you. That's what I'd say. Right. Okay. I think everyone answered the question about The Office. I'm just waiting now. I'm just waiting. Nothing's coming in, which is happy. Right. Okay. So we'll move on to the next question. This one is Charles Manson. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
John Wayne Gacy.
I mean, I feel like you're just naming serial killers now. This isn't really.
Yeah, this is. I don't think I look like John Wayne. Do I look like him, John Wayne Gacy? Can we get a picture of John Wayne Gacy up? The producers over. I want to see whether I look like him or not.
I think you look like the guy.
I could pass as Ricky Tomlinson.
Oh.
I mean, I'm hoping Ricky Tomlinson, possibly like 20 years ago, not like now. Surely
2 or 3 weeks ago, at least. Yeah.
2 or 3 weeks. Yeah, before lockdown. Before lockdown.
Yeah.
Ricky Tomlinson pre-lockdown is what I look like. Is that what it is?
John, that's one of the worst things that could have been said.
I think, yeah, do you know what it is? That's worse than anything you've had so far, Ryan. I'm going to be honest.
Colin is the best person.
Colin is very much
Say
involved.
more stuff, Colin.
I love Colin. Colin's always involved in this. He's involved every week. He's perfect. He's one of the guys.
Can we get a picture of Colin?
Yeah, can we see what Colin looks like? Can we get Colin's profile picture?
You can see him in his little picture that comes up. He's there.
Right, we're moving away from face. Well, this is literally face off, isn't it? It's now face off. This is literally. It's kind of on theme. It's kind of on theme. Which one's Colin in that
got
picture?
a long beard. Which one's Colin?
I mean,
So rude.
you've not insulted Colin there.
Don't assume.
Colin's never going to be able to watch the show again now. Right, let's move on to the next question, and we'll wait for Colin to come back with some more great stuff. Question 2 is Rick and Morty or South Park?
Oh.
So, okay, Ryan again.
Yeah, okay, so.
Ryan, again, I felt like you were like you let out a there.
Again, this was a real hard one for me because I find them so different. I genuinely, all right, and I'm gonna be honest here. Rick and Morty is one of the only 2-3 cartoons that has ever made me cry.
Oh, right. I'm
going to say that Rick and Morty is better than South Park, but I also absolutely love South Park.
When did you cry at Rick and Morty?
There was a bit when. Do you remember when the family went to therapy and Pickle Rick?
Yeah.
And that bit I just found an intense kind of deconstruction of therapy and dealing with stuff. And then I also felt the bit where he clones or doesn't clone, no spoilers, the mum. I found that whole thing really deep and really quite dark. And I just maybe I was a bit drunk.
Okay, there we go. Do you know that was going to be literally my
I think the message there is don't watch it when you're on mind-bending drugs.
Yeah.
Or do it.
Yeah,
It's
much more.
Does anyone else think that Ryan needs to relax? Like lockdown is clearly not serving him well.
Ryan needs to relax. Just relax into that, relax into that Mackenzie Cook phrase and just get on with it. It'll be absolutely
all right, Ricky. All right.
Wash your hair.
Can I change my name on here?
Ricky Tomlinson, Daniel Craig, and Mackenzie Crook.
And what we've not even discussed.
What a lineup!
We've not discussed you.
Very
Yet.
happy.
We don't know what you look
Can't
like.
because that's sexist.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
You can't compare women to other women.
That's not allowed, is it?
That's one of the worst things you can do.
I mean, Esther looks like one of the worst OnlyFans websites I've ever seen. I'll be honest. Oh, go on, turn the light switch on, Esther. Go on, do it for me.
Armpit. You like that, babe? You like that? Ooh, it's smooth, fucker. That's
right. That's
armpit.
how we're trying to get money for this show by just like hawking your
It's armpit porn.
By any means necessary.
Esther, let's go to you then. Rick or Morty or South Park?
South Park, all the way.
You've seen Rick and Morty, I'm assuming?
I watched one episode, didn't really get into it. Certainly
Like
didn't cry or get like all vaginal about it.
I didn't cry in the first episode.
As soon as you switched it on, it takes me back to my childhood. But South Park, I've always liked South Park, and that's just what I watched growing up. So it's very, yeah. It was the first kind of cartoon that I got into, but I don't know if I'd sit and watch it now. Now I'm really
I was going to say, now, would you not watch it? But you would have back in the day.
No, back in the day. Now I'd watch like the adult cartoon things that I watched. BoJack Horseman, love it, which is really dark but also very funny. Yeah.
And
Bob Burgers.
Oh, Esther, you has to be
Odysseia.
That's
Colin,
you bloody wooer, you. What a legend Colin is. Look at Colin. He's desperate for
Suddenly,
my camera keeps going up because it doesn't like the fact that I look like Ricky Tomlinson. That's the
camera's like,
yeah.
Who's that?
That's
the murderer.
That's John Wayne Gacy, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a harrowing moment.
It was, wasn't it? Do you know when has anyone been in a Zoom chat yet where it's been hacked and that sort of stuff?
No,
Yeah.
That's exactly what I thought had just happened. I was like, oh my god, it's John Wayne Gacy.
Just a random murderer popping up.
It's like when you're in a conversation in the pub and it's gone on too long. You try and make your point. Like, but no, Wayne Gacy, and then everyone's like, "What the fuck are you talking
What's
about?"
Mr. Pickles?
Yeah, what's Mr. Pickles? I don't watch Mr. Pickles.
That sounds really creepy. Be careful, because Mr. Pickles will come.
I'm
going to use that to discipline my children. Children. Watch out for Mr. Pickles.
And let's move quickly on to Matt. We'll move to Matt.
And then I'll just hold up a picture of John.
Yeah.
Oh, you were desperate to say it, weren't you, Esther? You were so desperate to say that. That's what you wanted. Then move on to Matt. What do you think? South Park, Rick and Morty?
I've got no interest in either, really.
Perfect.
Rick and Morty a bit. Didn't really like it. South Park I watched when I was a kid, but that was 20 years ago. So I have very little to contribute with this. Sorry.
That's fine. That's all right. No problem. Right, we need to move on quickly because I've just had a message say we've already done 35 minutes. What are you guys talking about? Well, we're talking about the big issues, what we look like in the world. That's what we've been talking about. So we'll move on to the next section, which is the unpopular opinion section. So each comedian, each of the panelists has brought along an unpopular opinion about a film or series that they did not like that everybody else liked. So Mackenzie, we'll start with you. Every time I say your name, my camera goes off. It's like,
yeah, I'm controlling it, mate.
So what's your unpopular opinion?
I've gone with a docu-series which everyone seemed to absolutely lose their mind over, which was Tiger King.
Oh yeah,
I thought it was.
Oh my god, he also looks like the guy from Tiger King.
Not the main one. Not the main one. Clarify.
The one.
Does he look like the one that doesn't have any legs? Which is it that one?
No. What's his name? Oh, Jim, find it. It looks like Ryan.
Wow.
Oh, what's his name?
Esther.
He's tall and
Esther,
he's tall.
Esther, this was my segment. Don't just fucking swoop in with he looks like that as well.
Typical OnlyFans girl coming in here, taking over everyone's feed.
Just trying to earn the money.
I don't know what chariot is.
Right, Tiger King was shit because all it was another documentary to show how batshit crazy Americans were, and it just showed these animals in awful environments, but it just showed 3 people that were off their nut. I compared it to a UK government election. It was just mind-numbingly boring and crazy, but you ended with feeling like you had to pick one of them that you liked.
That's true.
Okay, you've made a very good point there. I think, Ryan, I can completely understand that. I've watched it. I liked it. I thought it was good. But you make good points. It was car crash TV. It was absolute car crash TV, is what it was, and it wasn't.
I'm trying to find a picture of that.
It's nowhere near as good as what I think, like The Last Dance, which is what I've just finished.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is
that's about
over the same sort of time period. You know what I mean? It's like that amount of documentary filming. But that documentary is just absolutely out there. Mark's with you, Ryan. Mark's with you about that. Yeah, Mark's agreeing. So, Matt, we'll go with you. What's your unpopular opinion? What's one you hated that everyone else loved?
I think this might be genuinely unpopular. Line of Duty.
Oh yeah, big one. Like it. Go on.
Because I was someone who never quite got into it when everyone else was watching it. So a few months back, I thought, I'll watch it. And I watched the first series. And I just, like, it's clearly kind of well made and stuff, like good acting and things. But I just find the writing really annoying because I just felt it kind of, particularly towards the end, it gets so melodramatic and stuff happens that is completely unrealistic. Like the characters just go completely mad. And it reminded me of Bodyguard, which is written by the same guy, Jed Mercurio, which I got halfway through and was like, I can't be asked for this. I had a really great beginning and then it just falls away towards the end. And the ending of Line of Duty was so annoying. Like it just sort of, it's sort of all the goodies die and all the baddies get away with it every time. And it's just like, no, I'm not interested.
The one episode that got me in that was the one where that policewoman gets pushed out the window in that. I think it's in the first series.
Yeah,
she's just attending something normal and she just gets pushed out the window. You're like, she's dead. It's like, yeah, she's dead. And I was just like, I don't know if she'd go through a plate glass window as quickly as that. It was all a bit unbelievable. I like Line of Duty. The acting,
killer.
The acting I'd say in it as well. I don't particularly like the young lad. What's his name? He was just in The Nest. Did you watch The Nest?
Martin Constant.
Yeah, which I didn't like his acting in Line of Duty, but in The Nest, he's absolutely brilliant. And I think it's because in Line of Duty, he's doing an English accent and he's a Scottish bloke and he's doing Scottish.
Oh, really?
In The Nest. So I think he was too much overthinking doing the accent all the time. And
sometimes
it made
it
quite sort of like stiff, I thought, in Line of Duty. I didn't really like it.
Yeah,
so.
he's quite wooden. He's quite wooden.
Yeah. And Esther, what's your unpopular opinion, other than the fact that Ryan looks like so many different people?
Somebody please, I just looked on my phone to see if I could find a picture of the guy. Can somebody please find a picture of the guy from Lion King?
Lion King?
Yeah.
The guy from Lion King. Simba or Scar?
The giraffe. From Tiger King, and put it up so we can see how it looks like Ryan. My unpopular opinion.
I beg you to please do that.
I can't remember his name. Game of Thrones.
You don't like Game of Thrones?
No, I don't like anything fantasy based. I'm not into any kind of like somebody breastfeeding their 50-year-old son. It's like whatever. I'm calling her Flubbity Buff or something, whatever. I just can't be dealing with it.
I agree, Matt, aka Aunt Sally from Wurzel Gummidge, original series. Are they saying that you look like Aunt Sally?
That's a deep cut.
Yeah.
Is that deeper than Ricky Tomlinson?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I've never
I think it's only the original series.
Yeah.
No one
At least you're
remembers
the
that.
original one.
Oh,
Hello,
hi,
Michael.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
Michael, are you going to call someone else a prick? What's going on here?
Oh, see, now I've just typed in onto Google Lion King because of you, Esther.
No, Tiger King.
Right.
I know it's Tiger King. But what? So your unpopular opinion? Let's just keep talking about Game of Thrones. Why didn't you like Game of Thrones? Just because of the breastfeeding scene?
No, I just can't be. I'm not into things that are like fantasy based. So like Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter.
Yeah, right, okay. So you're not into any of that.
Can't be no. That
Are you
Thor.
saying fantasy or fancy?
Fantasy.
Oh, because I thought you were putting breastfeeding with fancy dining, and I was getting confused.
Fancy night out for you, Ryan, is a bit of breastfeeding. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm just baffled.
Here he is. This guy.
All right. Okay. Well, are we actually going to be able to see him now? It's off your phone.
Hang on.
He's quite cool, though. Do you know what I mean? He's quite a cool guy.
I mean, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, 2 seconds. Keep that image there.
Oh, you're going to try and make yourself look like him?
Are you Googling Bodicea?
Oh, there we go.
Oh, wow.
Oh, perfect. That's
I mean,
like a side-by-side image. I mean, it looks like he's in the room. I can't believe we've got someone from Tiger King on this show.
I can't believe this is the reason why I dug my sunglasses out in a week of 27 degrees heat.
Yeah.
We've also got Mark Game of Thrones. I think he's on board with you with this one. Mark says Game of Thrones would have been better without the undead and the dragons.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know what that means.
So he quite like the storyline of the whole, just like the families fighting is basically what he likes.
Yeah.
Right.
Just watch the Kardashians then.
Yeah, Kardashians. What, The Wire? You could watch The Wire.
Yeah,
We've got the same sort of ending. Same sort of ending as Game of Thrones. I think. I'm not seeing The Wire to the end. I'll be honest.
Just watch Tiger King or The Lion King. Yeah. That's feuding families.
What, The Lion King?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And Tiger King to an extent.
They all are, to be fair. Okay, that's fine. I think we went through everybody's. That was good. I think I need to wrap up. I'm being told now we need to wrap up, so we need to start going. So, but thank you very much for everyone that's joined in. I think we've discussed the biggest topics that are out there at the moment. Who looks like who, and whether Matt looks like Aunt Sally from Wurzel Gummidge. I like the way it was specified the original series. Who did it choose?
Original series.
Is there a new series of Wurzel Gummidge?
Yeah,
I don't think
Mackenzie
there
Crook.
is.
yeah,
With
Mackenzie
Mackenzie Crook, is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Still, not one bit of
Oh,
double.
that's amazing. That's where the link is. Then that's exactly where the link is. Oh, Mark, I'd watch Kardashians and they attach each other with swords. That's very true. So would I.
Give it
Fair enough.
Okay, so just quickly before we go, anything that you guys want to recommend people should watch on any of the streaming sites that you might think they might not have done?
Little Fires Everywhere.
Little Fires Everywhere. That's Amazon Prime. I've seen that advertised a lot. Is it very good?
It is good. It's one where you're kind of like you're constantly on. There's basically it starts off with the twist, and you've got to work your way back, and then it all kind of reveals itself. So if you like that kind of thriller,
wasn't there called Little Lies as well? There wasn't a Little Lies thing as well. That was a bit like that. I can't remember. Okay, Ryan, anything you'd like to recommend?
I'm trying to remember the name, but it's something. It's on Netflix. It's called I Can't Deal with This, or something like that. It's like it's quite got Stranger Things vibes to it. But there's only one series because I think they were due to do another one before everything's gone on. It's incredible. It's something like I can't deal with it. I'm not okay with this. That's what it's called. I'm not okay.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Oh, very good.
Amazing first series on Netflix. Amazing.
Excellent. And Matt, you got anything?
yeah, Netflix as well. Altered Carbon.
Very good. Someone told me that's been around a while, hasn't it?
Well, they did the first series, which I think was good. It took a while to get going. The first series, the second series came out quite recently, and it was really good. I thought they were both great. Yeah, really good.
Perfect. I've just finished Upload on Amazon Prime, which was absolutely amazing.
Oh, is that good?
Oh yeah,
yeah, it's really good. It's very it's like got a Black Mirror idea to it. It's like the future where people get dying of like vape lung and all that sort of stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's quite sort of like trying to forebode things.
Yeah,
it's very good.
It's a bit Blade Runner-ish. It's got that kind of vibe.
And then you upload and it's very good, but it's also quite funny. They've got very comedic characters in it. Stuff. It's very good. Just finished it, 10 episodes, smashed it out in a week, and now I don't know what I'm going to do for the rest of my life.
Humble brag.
It's because I don't sleep, so I have to stay awake all night watching hour-long. I've also done The Last Dance in the same week, so I've done the Last Dance and that, both hour-long episodes. I've just smashed them both in a week.
No, you literally just got an iPad, just gaffer taped to your face. You're walking around the house like, making
what I do now, I turn you off, and I just turn
blood's coming out of one nostril, like.
Okay, so any final words from you guys? Do you want to promote anything? Anyone doing anything online? What you're doing? Promote yourselves. Let everyone know what you're doing. Esther, go first. Go on, you look desperate.
Yeah, we're doing with Joke Pit. We're going to do, and it's starting on the 3rd of June. With me and Lily Phillips are doing Pictionary with guests. First guest is the lovely Cole Donnelly.
Nice.
So tune in on June the 3rd, 8:15.
Perfect. Ryan, anything to promote other than your Mackenzie Crook double in?
Get some business, Ryan. Tiger King.
If anyone's looking
Birthday
for next week, starting from next week, Monday and Wednesdays, live on my Instagram, I'm doing with Tanya Moore, stand-up comedian. We're doing Would You Rather live on Instagram. And then also I've got my podcast coming out weekly. If you're a nature lover, animal lover, wildlife lover, called Into the Wild on Podbean, Spotify, and iTunes, where I'm interviewing wildlife filmmakers and environmental experts and stuff like that, and all the people from Tiger King, including myself.
And Matt, have you got anything to promote?
I've been quite busy making the latest Bond film, but I've also been making lots of little videos and stuff and putting them on my YouTube channel. So yeah, check out my website and my Twitter and Instagram and all that. And I've got all the links there, all the videos and all the stuff. Yeah.
Perfect, good stuff. I've been desperately trying to rewrite a new version of the Royal Family, but you know, when some of the writers aren't there anymore, you can't write it again, can you? So it's
that's done.
Lovely. So that's great. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. Thank you very much for everyone that got joined in. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Colin. And thank you, Mark. You were the main input that joined in this time. So that is it. We're going to go. We're here every Tuesday at 8 o'clock discussing the things about streaming. So we've been, that's the show. We're finished. So we're going to go. Goodbye. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.